Hi everyone, Mrs. Olsen here. This video will only be me reading the document out loud. I thought it might be helpful for this one if I read it out loud and you followed along. Along the way, you'll also hear me explaining some words or ideas throughout the reading. Okay, here we go. Egypt's Golden Empire, Women in Power. The high level of respect for women made Egyptian society unusual for its time. That's because in ancient times, women generally were not considered equal in many societies around the world, except for the Egyptians. Women in the royal household could become especially influential. Egyptian society was used to women ruling as co-regents until their sons came of age. So the pharaohs, the kings of the time, they were only males, right? Now, if the father died and the son was, say, 7 or 8 years old and was not capable of ruling the country, the mom would act as a co-regent, almost like a partner, a cooperation. There's the word co. So a co-regent until their sons came of age. Ahotep ruled Egypt during its darkest days while she waited for her son Amos to reach adulthood. More unusually, the female pharaoh, Hatshepsut, successfully ruled for some 20 years. Okay, scrolling down. So the title of this says Male Sphinx of Hatshepsut. It says only two women had been pharaoh before Hatshepsut, and both had failed to rule for long. Egyptians struggled with the idea of a female pharaoh, which is perhaps why we see Hatshepsut depicted here with a male body, a male kilt, and the false beard of a pharaoh on her chin. So even though she was the pharaoh, they weren't super comfortable with a woman being a pharaoh, so in this art piece, they gave her male features. Okay? First among equals. Unlike other Egyptians, pharaohs were polygamous. Now, this is the definition of polygamous. That means that they have more than one wife, but just one principal queen. She was the wife whose male children were acknowledged as the pharaoh's heirs. So if a pharaoh had multiple wives and they all had children, there would only be one wife whose child would be the heirs to the throne. Although Egyptian queens previously enjoyed very little power, the situation changed dramatically during the New Kingdom period. Instead of just bearing children, the principal queen became an essential part of her husband's reign. Any attempt to rule without a consort, meaning that the husband without her, without a partner, a consort, became an offense against Ma'at. And Ma'at is the divine order of the universe. It was the rules by which the ancient Egyptians lived by. So a pharaoh during the New Kingdom period could not rule against his wife, otherwise it was considered wrong. Okay, next section, wifely duties. Like any dutiful wife, an Egyptian queen was expected to support her husband. She had a variety of religious, going back up, and political duties that reinforced the position of the royal family. For example, Queen T, wife of Amenhotep III, may have been born a commoner, so a commoner in a royal, they're not royal blood. A commoner is just someone that has kind of a regular job and generally they don't have very much money. She may have been a commoner, but was soon corresponding with foreign princes as an equal. So Queen T was sent by her husband Amenhotep to go out and be a political figure and talk to other princes in the region. Similarly, Queen Nefertiti was a full participant in religious ceremonies honoring Aten, the sun god. Okay, so this caption goes along with this photo or this graphic, and it says this is the famous limestone bust of Queen Nefertiti from the workshop of the sculptor Tutmos at Amarna. It shows her as a beautiful woman wearing a unique tall blue crown, in which she is frequently depicted elsewhere. The bust of Queen Nefertiti has become an icon of Amarna art and is on display at the Egyptian Museum in Berlin. Okay, and the last part, independent woman. Queens were also given estates, so large pieces of property and homes, which provided them with financial independence. This enabled them to commission, meaning that they could pay somebody to make something, to create something. This enabled them to commission their own monuments and even develop their own religious symbols. These were designed to remind the people that their queen was close to being a god. A crown of tall feathers, for example, indicated links with the gods Min, Amen, and Re. Some pharaohs made the link more obvious. Amenhotep III and Ramses the Great each built temples for their principal queens, Ti and Nefertari. The temples were dedicated to them, so the two pharaohs and their consorts were worshipped as gods, a lasting tribute to loving partners. Now, at the bottom, I just want to tell you that I took this from a website called PBS. And so I did not write this, and anytime that you take somebody else's writing, you have to give them credit for doing that. All right, that's the end of this reading document.